If you're a millennial like me, you are more than likely familiar with Shonen Jump Magazine. These were basically everywhere on store shelves in the mid-2000s, which makes sense given how much manga and anime were booming at the time. These were pretty sizable magazines too, typically around 360 to 400 pages filled with a couple of chapters from lots of popular manga series. And obviously over in Japan, these types of magazines are super popular, but it's hard to describe how much of a leap of faith this magazine was for VIZ Media. This basically came out around the Wild West days of anime and manga here in the West. Manga and anime were definitely booming off of franchises like Dragon Ball and Pokemon, but a lot of companies were trying to make concessions. But Shonen Jump Magazine came out in 2003, essentially attempting to replicate what Weekly Shonen Jump Magazine had in Japan with as little concessions as possible. Now, what was included in these magazines? As a monthly magazine rather than a weekly release, these American releases had more in common with magazines such as VIZ Jump Magazine than the more straight to the point format of Weekly Shonen Jump. And obviously you were getting manga chapters from a lot of major series. VIZ essentially had access to the Avengers of shonen manga with an early lineup of Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece, Yu Yu Hakusho, Shaman King, Yu-Gi-Oh, and eventually series like Bleach. But you were getting a lot of additional articles and anime news, interviews, etc. Things like upcoming games. And I love magazines like this because they essentially serve as a time capsule for a moment in time. Even advertisements and promotions, something that I feel comes and goes on the internet, is immortalized in these issues. Just the other day I was looking back at these issues and saw an ad for the premiere of Naruto on Cartoon Network, and I just think that's cool to be able to look back on. But the real reason these guys were so great is that they were cheap. You could essentially get a 12-month subscription for only $29.99 or around $4.99 for individual issues market price. That was about the price of a video game at the time, except you were getting 12 400-page volumes across the year. Keep in mind the market price of a manga volume around this time was around $7 or so. But the point of Shonen Jump Magazine was never to replace these volumes. These magazine issues were a gateway drug, something to help get readers hooked on a series. Moving at the pace of 2 or 3 chapters every month meant it might take a long time to catch up, or maybe you wanted to catch up on the full story and so you'd shell out for the individual volumes. Unfortunately, the landscape of magazines in general was starting to change. The internet and soon the ever-presence of smartphones around 2008-2009 meant younger consumers weren't really taking to magazines to get their fan news anymore. And the availability and easy access to online scanlations was becoming a threat too large to ignore. So in 2012, prints of American Shonen Jump Magazine ceased and the series shifted over to focus on its online magazine, Shonen Jump Alpha. So starting in 2013, this was meant to get chapters of the manga out the same day as they were released in Japan. And this was a great idea. The best way to combat piracy is always to make access easier. And for the price of a small coffee, I was basically able to get the newest chapters the minute they dropped. What I really liked about these is they also included some cool features, including author comments, Japanese lessons, previews of new projects, and more. And I actually subscribed to the service from around 2014 to 2016 and jumped on a lot of new series this way, including Seraph of the End. However, they would end up ending this issue-based format with their final issue in 2018, instead moving to an on-demand service similar to Netflix. Now, around the same time that Shonen Jump switched to their online service, they also introduced something called the Shonen Jump Pack, which VIZ claimed would help bridge the gap between print and digital. These issues were released biannually and would showcase a chapter of around 3 to 4 series at about 100 pages. So you're getting about a quarter of the size of the regular Shonen Jump magazines and less frequently. And credit where due, the covers on these guys look really slick and really nice. These are definitely built sturdier than your standard floppy magazines that really weren't meant to take a beating, and kind of listed the same feeling I got looking at the original American Shonen Jump magazines in the store. But interestingly, these are marked up to a price of $10, which you might blame on inflation, But the real reason is probably because the goal of these jump packs was not to act as a magazine as much as they look like it. In fact, these jump packs basically lacked any extra elements inside them. Gone were any articles, news, even a lot of advertisements were pared down. These would come with a discount code instead for 2 to 3 months free membership to Shonen Jump Online, and often a special Yu-Gi-Oh card or even a small deck of cards, which is all essentially where that $10 is being factored into. These were meant to be print samplers essentially. These weren't meant for regular Shonen Jump readers to purchase every season, though I'm sure VIZ happily took that money. They were pushing desperately to convert curious physical readers to their online service. And to my surprise, they had been releasing these even up until 2023, almost a decade of these releases, outliving even the Shonen Jump Alpha service, which tells me this strategy worked in some ways. In my opinion, the only reason to want one of these is for the cover, which a lot of these covers were taken from respective VIZ Jump magazine covers. If you're a fan of a specific series showcased in these issues, you more than likely have a volume which will give you more chapters to work with anyway for a small price. And the series showcased in these are almost always ones that are universally popular, such as Dragon Ball, My Hero Academia, One Piece, or Yu-Gi-Oh! The Jump Pack issues that I think caught my attention the most were the ones that had one-shots, such as the issue previewing Masashi Kishimoto's Samurai 8 story. But really, the Jump Pack is VIZ adapting to the new realities of magazine distribution. I might just be a boomer who collects magazines, but regular people don't read magazines anymore, and it was a smart business decision to make the Jump Pack what it is, rather than losing money trying to appeal to old heads. Anyway, thank you guys for letting me ramble on about American Shonen Jump magazines. These were a big part of my childhood. Thanks to you guys, I've been able to kind of buy things like this Jump Pack to talk about on my channel. If you want to see more stuff like this, please like and subscribe, but also leave a comment on what you want me to talk about next, especially if you have something pretty obscure that you want me to look into. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching and bye.